What is good, YouTube, man? Today I'm back with you guys, with the nation, for another video. And today, man, back with the different style video. You guys seem to like it, so I'm gonna bring more of these to you guys. But you already know, before I get into today's video, I have to give a big shout out to my guy, Icy Nate, always coming in clutch with these thumbnails. So please, if you can, give my guy a like, give my guy a subscribe, show him some love on his YouTube page at Icy_Nate on YouTube. But let's get straight into today's video. And as you can see by the title, as you can see by the thumbnail, we're going to get straight to it. Now, I got a couple of options right here for you guys. I really want to see your guys' thoughts and opinions on this because I think these are all very good options and very possible options. And I'm going to give you guys a rundown. Now, we're going to be talking about options at the cornerback position. As we all know, with this new defensive coordinator we have, he's very multiple. There's going to be times where we need a lot of DBs, and we can't be super thin on DBs where Keyshawn Nixon has to go out and play, and Dallin Levitt has to play. But instead of DBs as a whole, I'm going to go down and just break down the cornerback position as some guys that I think we can bring in as a couple of options for the Raiders this offseason. Now, number one on this list is James Bradberry. Some of you guys may think, well, how in the hell are we going to get James Bradberry? He is under contract with the New York Giants. Let me tell you, the New York Giants don't have a crazy number of cap space, and they are most likely going to let go of this man's very big contract. He is set to make almost $22 million, and there is no penalty if they cut James Bradberry. So that's most likely what's going to happen. They'll probably cut James Bradberry, and he'll probably be available. And with us hiring his former defensive coordinator, we could be the front runners for his services. Now, if you take a look at it this year, he combined a total of 4 interceptions. Not too bad, not the best stats, not the greatest stats, but he is a Swiss Army knife in this defense. You know, this year, four interceptions, 15 in his career. He's only 28 years old, you guys. I would love to bring this guy in my personal opinion. Had a couple of really good games this offseason, very productive. But as you all know, that defense was on the field so much that they just didn't really have a chance to really succeed out there. Now, next on the list, probably the most expensive option, but at the same time, probably the best option in terms of talent. In terms of talent, this is probably the best option. Now, J.C. Jackson, Mr. INT, Mr. Interception, this year has recorded a total of 8 interceptions with the New England Patriots. Another guy from this tree that, you know, with us hiring Ziegler and hiring McDaniels, you really could be one of the front runners to get J.C. Jackson. As we all know, our head coach and our GM were with the Patriots for at least the last 5 years, so they know this guy very well, especially our GM, who was all things Patriots. Now, J.C. Jackson, honestly, he may be making $20 million a year, but understand this. He's not a guy like Trayvon Diggs where he's going to get a lot of interceptions but give up a lot of yards. He has coverage ability, and he has that big play ability, and he knows the defense of New England. It's maybe not as multiple as a guy like Patrick Graham, but we know that in a multiple defense like the New England Patriots, he can have a lot of success. Would I pay $20 million for a cornerback? I don't know. There's a lot of cap space that we have next year. If J.C. Jackson is willing to take a backloaded contract, I would definitely do it. I know that players nowadays are looking for that guaranteed money, which is not something that we would be able to do this year. We would be able to guarantee him that money in the future because we do have a lot of cap space in the future, but this is just really tough for him. You know, we can definitely land him, but for the right price. You know, I'd love to see your guys' thoughts and opinions. I know a lot of people would love J.C. Jackson, a guy that's going to give your offense the ball over an extra 8 times a year just by himself. So shout out to J.C. Jackson. If we can land him, that would be incredible. Now, the next player on this list, we go from one Jackson to another Jackson, but this one goes by the name of Dante Jackson. As we all know, the Raiders most likely are going to be hiring Jason Simmons, defensive backs coach, passing coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. It just so happened that Dante Jackson played for the Carolina Panthers. Only 26 years old, not the tallest of guys. He's only 5'10". But really is a decent cornerback, has tons and tons of speed. And, you know, he's not going to get the interceptions like Bradberry and Mr. Interception, J.C. Jackson. But, you know, 2 on the year is better than any corner we had. And honestly, this is a guy who is a solid player. Kind of, in my opinion, like another Trayvon Mullen, a very, very good number 2. But I would not be mad at getting Dante Jackson at all, as I do believe that the more depth, the better. His contract will look pretty good, in my opinion, at least $8 to $10 million a year, just due to the fact that he's only 26. And has shown a lot of production with Carolina. I would love to be able to bring in a guy like Dante Jackson, and like I said, with us bringing in his defensive backs coach, this is a very, very big possibility. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on a guy like Dante Jackson. Definitely not my number 1 guy, but definitely wouldn't mind bringing in someone of his talent at all. I would love it. I would love it. Now, we're going to talk about a man who played this season with us. You know, all this talk about these other guys, let's talk about someone that we could re-sign. He goes by the name of Casey Hayward. Now, this one is a little bit difficult, right? He had a great year with the Raiders last year, didn't give up 1 touchdown. One of the cornerbacks that will probably have the highest market in this offseason, and that's Casey Hayward, man. Like I said, he had a good year. His defensive coordinator that he's been with for the last almost 8 seasons. Oh no, this will be his 7th season with Gus Bradley. If Gus Bradley would have been here, now Gus Bradley is no longer with us. He is now in Indianapolis. He is the defensive coordinator for the Colts. I really want to know, would you guys re-sign Casey Hayward? Do you think that Casey Hayward would even re-sign with the Raiders, right? Do you think that he'll go with Gus Bradley like he came with us after Gus Bradley left the Chargers? Casey Hayward, somebody who personally I feel like would do amazing in a system like Gus Bradley over there in Indianapolis, because it's a zone predominant scheme. He will be at the playing age of 33 this offseason. I'm not too sure if he'll still have that twitch to him. He didn't really have that twitch to him last year, but since we were in a zone scheme, he was really able to thrive. You know, it's a lot more on knowledge instead of instincts. So Casey Hayward, would you guys bring him back? Someone who will have a really large market, but at the same time, his ability and his age may be dropping down just a little bit. And in this new scheme where Graham likes to switch up into man to zone to cover 2 man to cover 1, all this kind of stuff, you know, he may not fit. He may not fit that man scheme, that man role that would be asked of him anymore. Maybe in 2015 or 16 when he was the interception leader of the NFL, but not anymore, man. But definitely somebody I would love to bring back regardless. Now, the next person on this list played for the Panthers. As we all know, we got the Panthers defensive backs coach. Played for New England. As we all know, we got New England general manager. We got a New England head coach. 2 guys that have played there. So this one, in my opinion, is actually very, 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 very possible. I would really look out for Stefan Gilmore, a guy who's going to be 32 when the season starts. Still recorded 2 interceptions. Not bad at all. Like I said, that's still better than every single corner on this team. This one I would love to see. You know, I feel like this is a guy that can make $8 to $8.5 million per year, and I would give it to him. I would give him a 2-year, $16 or $17 million deal. You know, the second year being a team option, to where if you don't like his production after the first year, you can void his contract out. No dead money, no dead cap. And if he's up for it, I would love for Stefan Gilmore to be a Las Vegas Raider. I feel like his knowledge he would bring to this scheme would be fantastic. Just the fact of having a guy like Stefan Gilmore, there's a respect that comes to having him on your defensive side of the ball. So I would love for this guy to become a Las Vegas Raider. And guess what? He's a free agent, man. He is a free agent. Although the Carolina Panthers did trade for him, they also traded for a younger guy in C.J. Henderson. And they also drafted an even younger guy in J.C. Horn. So he definitely is not the future in Carolina. He wouldn't necessarily be the future for the Raiders, but he'd definitely be a great pickup for the Raiders. And like I said, if he's willing to take that $8 to $8.5 million a year, come here, come to the Raiders. We'd love to have your services on this team. Now, one more guy on this list. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's played with the Buccaneers, second-round pick. Now, this guy, he's a little bit bigger than all the other ones I showed you. He's at 6'1", over the 200-pound mark, but he's only 25 years old. Now, I spoke about guys like Casey Hayward. I spoke about guys like Stefan Gilmore that wouldn't necessarily be the future, but would be good additions. Now, Carlton Davis at the age of 25, I feel like he could be the future, man. You know, very, very young on a team that is without Tom Brady. So without Tom Brady, that puts the Buccaneers back into a position where they were 2 seasons ago, looking for a quarterback. And if you're a team looking for a quarterback, oh, that's always tough, man, because you never know with these quarterbacks. Now, he only had 1 interception on the year, and that was against Dallas. But like I said, only 25 years old. I would love to bring him in. I'm not too sure what his market would look like. I believe he was part of that injury, you know, that in and out with injuries with the Buccaneers this year. So maybe his market is just a little bit lower. But I would really, really, really like to see us be able to bring in a guy like you know, James Bradberry, or bring in a guy like Carlton Davis, or bring in a guy like Dante Jackson, who aren't on their last years, you know, who can be the future of the Raiders, who can be some sort of a long-term, you know, longer than 2 years, right? Stefan Gilmore, if he were to come in, I think the max would be 2 years. Casey Hayward, if he were to come in, I think max would just be 1 year. So a guy like Carlton Davis, a guy like James Bradberry, a guy like Dante Jackson would all kind of be a part of the future of the Raiders, you know? And like I said, Stefan Gilmore, Dante Jackson, linked to our new defensive backs coach. Stefan Gilmore, linked to our new defensive backs coach, as well as our general manager and our head coach. You know, I think that a lot of these possibilities are very, 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 very possible, you know, and I would love to see us get one of these guys. You know, the cap space, there's always more guys that we can look into, but I really feel like these were the top guys, top names that I feel like you guys should be looking after, and we should be looking after as free agency is upon us coming next month. You guys, next month is free agency, so it's a really exciting time for me. I love free agency. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. What cornerback on this list would you like to get the most? I know there's J.C. Jackson out there, but you got to look at it. $20 million, around $20 million. Are you willing to pay $20 million for J.C. Jackson? So let me know. Those 6 guys on this list, who do you guys want to bring in? If there's any players I missed, let me know in the comment section down below. But Raider Nation, that'll be it for today's video. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers, man. So it's pretty crazy. If you can, help me get there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And I'm out, you guys. Peace.